It's January, which means there are no new games coming out for ages. I said new games, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. You're not fooling anyone with your fancy hair. Don't worry though, there are still plenty of exciting new games coming our way this year. Here are the Xbox games we at Outside Xbox are most looking forward to.
Right, hear me out. I know Aliens Colonial Marines was terrible, but Alien Isolation has jumped right to the top of my most wanted list. For a start, it's a completely different kind of game. Where Colonial Marines was based on the catchphrase-heavy, gun-toting Space Marines of the second film in the series, Alien Isolation draws inspiration from the first Alien movie, where things were a lot tenser, more claustrophobic, and more like a straight-up horror film. To that end, there's only one alien, and you're largely defenseless against it, and it'll occasionally jump out of things and... Oh, Jesus! Secondly, it's not being developed by the same people. Sega has told Gearbox that they can't have nice things if they won't look after them, and handed the franchise over to the Creative Assembly, the guys behind the Total War series, which... Oh no! Finally, it looks like Creative Assembly actually gets Alien and understands what makes the series great. Every little touch I've seen so far, from the 70s sci-fi vibe of objects like the motion tracker to the appearance of a familiar-looking drinking bird toy, makes me feel like the series is back in good hands. I've been burned before thinking that an Alien game is going to be good, but if we allow heartbreak to prevent us from ever loving again, then that's the real tragedy. You hear me, Gearbox? I will love again! Oh, I was expecting the alien to jump out then, I guess. Ah!
Top of my most wanted list, sitting very pretty indeed, is Destiny. If you're a Halo fan, you can't really complain, can you? This year you'll be getting Halo 5 from 343 Studios, who've shown with Halo 4 that they know what they're doing when it comes to making a Halo game. You'll also be getting Destiny, which, and stop me if this sounds familiar, is a sweeping space opera shooter from Bungie. But if you think Destiny is just Halo in a wig, you couldn't be more wrong. For a start, flavour of the year is blending single and multiplayer, and Destiny looks to be offering the most intelligent approach to that. Rather than just filling the world with other players and leaving them to grief each other, Destiny will intelligently scale the experience. So you and a friend can have a claustrophobic co-op battle through infested tunnels, but when you emerge into a more open area, you might intersect with a band of other players completing their own objectives. The thing that really lights my fire though is the fact the entire thing looks like the colourful 70s sci-fi novel covers on my dad's bookshelf that I used to pore over as a kid. Those novels were all about exploring far-flung planets, and Destiny's going to let me do exactly that, with an entirely appropriate sense of scale. Halo was always a great shooter, but it was just a shooter. Destiny has a more RPG vibe, with character customization, talent trees and weapon upgrades. And if you're married to Halo multiplayer, you'll be pleased to hear you can take your Destiny character into competitive arena battles too, and score exclusive items that you won't get in campaign mode. See someone swanning around wearing them in the world and you'll know they're kind of a big deal in multiplayer. So it's basically Halo, but with ambition to match its sci-fi scale. Sign me up.
Titanfall is top of the list of Xbox One games I would be playing right now if that were somehow possible. Titanfall comes out in March, so it's not possible unless I were to quit right now, move to California and become a late-stage QA tester for Respawn, where I would agree to be paid in $200 collectible Atlas Titan statues. At any rate, I'm convinced this mashup of giant battle robots and nimble space soldiers is the shiny jewel in the Xbox One crown. Thanks to Respawn's multiplayer expertise and obsessive playtesting, you're never more than a few seconds from a rush of adrenaline. That might be the buzz of doing a flying leap onto the back of an enemy Titan, or hailing a friendly Titan via orbital airdrop, like the world's biggest, noisiest, deadliest taxi. The finely tuned wall running will keep your adrenaline fizzing, and your Titan's emergency ejector seat, which kicks you high into the sky like a champagne cork, will leave you giddy. Come the end of the year, you'll still be telling Titanfall war stories. Also, while we're here, let's talk about the recent confirmation that the multiplayer headcount is capped at 6 versus 6 human players. I'm not worried about it, and I don't think you should be either. Given the way Titanfall mixes human opponents and AI-controlled soldiers, and how busy the battlefield has felt every time I've played Titanfall, I believe the developers when they say 6v6 is a design decision. The player cap here isn't a technical limitation, but the theoretical optimum population for multiplayer fun. It's not a number Respawn has picked at random, it's the sweet spot suggested by playtesting, where you get exhilarating action and meaningful multiplayer encounters instead of a washing machine of indistinguishable robot violence, aka Transformers 3.
Also out in 2014 is Trials Fusion, the latest game in Red Lynx's infinitely frustrating motorbike game, where the aim is to get incrementally faster times than your friends who you now hate. It may sound like I'm not a fan, but Trials is a perfect example of a particular kind of one more go gaming, where you'll spend hours perfecting each level for nothing more than bragging rights over your mates. It's great fun. I hate all my friends. So I'm excited for the new game Trials Fusion, which brings with it a new futuristic setting and, most excitingly for a Tony Hawk veteran like myself, a new trick system. The tricks are extra, part of a new game mode, so don't freak out, they're not compulsory, but as someone who does totally unnecessary backflips during Trials runs anyway, that's all gravy. It's going to be the most ambitious Trials yet. When we spoke to the developers at E3, they were talking about having a new version of GigaTrack 5 times longer than the already mammoth track featured in Trials Evolution, as well as the addition of 1 kilometre drops that'll probably end up with your rider getting impaled on a pipe or something, knowing the sadists at Red Lynx.
Dying Light is the other game for which the needle on my personal hypometer has already buried itself in the bit labelled Danger Maximum Hype. It's called Dying Light because, you see, the game changes as the sun goes down and also everyone's dead. Alright, Dead Island wasn't necessarily what you'd call AAA entertainment, but developer Techland's semi-sequel Dying Light has the financial clout of Warner Bros. Behind it. What does that mean in real terms? Parkour, mainly. And lens flare, obviously, buys you lens flare. What I'm mainly excited about though is the ability to push zombies headfirst off roofs. Can't see that ever getting boring. Whee! In spite of these glamorous additions, the game seems to retain its B-movie charm. The new day and night cycle, when nastier monsters come out at night, looks to change the tone entirely. You'll be hurrying to get stuff done before sunset, and survival will be much more of a struggle once night falls and packs of volatiles emerge. Though we might have to wait a while for more information on Mirror's Edge 2, Dying Light's momentum-heavy movement scratches a similar itch. It's totally intuitive based on what we've played at the Eurogamer Expo. And while it hasn't been shown off properly yet, the game has the same 4-player co-op that elevated Dead Island beyond its slightly clunky mechanics. It also has a similar weapon crafting system to the one that brought us the Vomit Axe.
I'm using my Vomit Axe. What? Is he vomiting?
Yep.
Oh, now he's headless.
Well, he was when he still had a head.
Oh.
There's vomit coming out of his neck hole.
Can't promise the more wacky weaponry will make it into what is probably a marginally more serious game, but we've got every extremity crossed. Even that one. So yes, Dying Light is up there at the top of my list for 2014. I've heard the accusations it's just Dead Island with parkour, and you know what? I'm fine with that. I like Dead Island. I'm not ashamed. Feel free to tell me at length in the comments why I should be ashamed.
If the going gets tough in 2014, it will be Dragon Age Inquisition that keeps me going. It's due out this autumn and I can't wait. Dragon Age sold me on the intrigue and complexity of its world and the charm of its characters back in 2009. So much so, I've been a Dragon Age apologist ever since, despite the kludgy combat of the first game and the reduced ambition of Dragon Age 2, which left even me a little bit cold. Dragon Age Inquisition, however, won't need me feverishly defending it in the BioWare forums. It takes place in a much, much bigger world than Dragon Age 2, such as befits an epic fantasy tale. The mages and Templars are at war, there's an interdimensional sky hole spitting out demons, and it's down to you, the Inquisitor, to sort out this mess, save the world, chat up your party members, and probably have a lovely romantic subplot if you can manage it.
Your tent. Ah, I know most guys would probably leap at the chance to be with you, but I don't know if I'm ready for that. It's a big step.
All the signs are good for a next-gen Dragon Age sequel done right. Character race options are back, for instance, so you can play a dwarf, elf, human or Qunari, and in a fight you can command your party from the tactical top-down view missing from the last game. I know The Witcher 3 is also out this year, and I know it will look and be brilliant, coming from the fantasy RPG virtuosos at CD Projekt Red. As a fantasy RPG enthusiast, I'm all for that. But it's BioWare that knows how to push my buttons with custom characters, chantry politics, and romanceable everyone.
So, those were the games we at Outside Xbox are most looking forward to in 2014. What are you most looking forward to, and what games do you want to hear more about? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to stay tuned to the YouTube channel for loads more news, previews, and other fun stuff on all the biggest upcoming games. See you next time!